Welcome, everybody. This is Jared Rand, and welcome to the Global Guided Meditation Call for Saturday, September 30, 2023, about 3:25 p.m. Eastern. Once we become more aware and our amnesia has lifted, we are neither consciousness nor its content. We are the timeless source, the supreme reality. Trust in that, Nisargadatta. You see, the gods in these bodies go way beyond consciousness. And when you start to realize that each of us are the source of all, the gods that we are in these bodies are the source of all creation, it is a much different, unusual way to identify oneself. Actually, not even to discover oneself in the body. And we exist kind of like in two places at the same time. One, we're heavily involved with. The other is an unknown. We're not sure what it's about. And that's how we operate. We exist in two elements: the physical material and the spiritual. And they're not, as far as we're concerned, the spiritual, the God, the pure consciousness and beyond of what we really are, usually is not the popular one. The popular one is the material physical world and living in yesterday and tomorrow and rushing through the life. Many of us then get caught up in believing we kind of step into the future, so we worry about the future, right? We worry about where we're going to be, what we're going to be doing, if we're going to actually even last long enough to go to be in the future. Now, we don't usually worry that much about the future when we're really young, obviously. We do start worrying about it when we are faced with supporting ourselves and carrying on our own. Then we worry. And it continues from that point all the way through life. And you ask yourself, how often do you worry? And it's not like you're aware of it. It's a huge energy drain. It drains people. It stops them from manifesting the life of their dreams. And the worry is a lot like, and worry is many things. It's stressing, fearing, anxiety combined. And it's a lot like TV. And that the worried mindset will pull us in and entertain us for hours, days, years, and even lifetimes. It is praying, right? Worrying is praying for what we don't want to manifest. So it's what it is. Now you name it anything you want to name it, but it's basically praying for what you don't want to manifest. and is exactly how we create what we don't want in our life. And again, it's not like we do this on purpose with ourselves. It isn't an intent that we're aware of and conscious about. It's just automatic. We do it like the majority of people do it. And those people who are always putting energy into what they don't want to happen, how much energy is left to meditate on and feel what they do want? Now, when we spend our time hoping and wishing that we don't experience something, the universe just hears that as something we really need to experience. It stems from not trusting our personal connection to this universe. It is created from being attached to some positive and negative idea about a future situation. The mind is attached to the thought that it will not happen the way we think it should. And it's so different. Worrying is living a what-if state of mind that is visualizing what we don't want to experience instead of what we do. And when we are worried, we have stopped appreciating, trusting, and focusing on fear. Stopped appreciating, trusting, and are focusing on fear. What might or might not occur is ultimately up to this universe in the end. And our main job is to raise our vibration so that we do our little part in making the planet a more enjoyable place and inadvertently attracting the highest possible people and situations into our lives. But the challenging part for many of us is we're so used to doing it. It's what we've been taught, right? Again, as a little child or a baby, we're an open vessel. We don't have any of that. We don't have an ego mind, right? We don't worry, stress, and fear. It doesn't exist. So where does it come from? It comes from other people's thoughts. That's where it comes from. And in roughly about 6, 7, 8, 9 years, we now have our character, personality, and ego mind. Now, worry, stress, fear, anxiety, which I've seen debilitate people, is mainly caused from a lack of consciousness, which can be shifted with a little mental discipline and focus. See, when we stress, and a lot of us stress, different degrees. I mean, we all have that. We get too attached to the material, physical world, and then we start worry, stressing, and fearing. See, it's like when you grip tight onto something, can't really move, right? It's kind of stymied. So you kind of look at it like we have these reins on our mind that are just too tight on fear, and too loose on love. Too tight on fear, too loose on love. It's like mental horses of the mind, which run wild when we worry, stress, and fear. And when that's present, and we end up getting pulled down roads we never cared to go down. Or that we just didn't consciously know. How many people do you know in your travels? Maybe that you've known for quite some time. This isn't a judgment. It is a perspective or from a viewing. Who practice the fine art of worry, stress, fear for years. Okay? They may be numb to passion, pleasure, and have become a worry zombie. Step out of the zone, you to do one thing. Pull back on the reins of your mind. Steer those addicted horses back to your pleasure pastures by staying focused on trust and feeling the positive outcome that you really want. You're the director. You're the producer. You're the commander. You're all of those things. And yet, the majority of us feel that we're powerless. And we end up being powerless. When we focus on things that we want, and the worry, stress, and fear drops away, we soon find that the mind is much happier. And its worry, stress, fear approach to living will leave our lives stable. This universe knows exactly what it is doing. It is divinely intelligent and vastly creative. What if the future was 100% perfect exactly as it showed up, and there was nothing any of us could do about it? What if you see your picture of the next 100 years of your life and know that there was absolutely nothing any of us did to change for it to learn what our soul came here to learn? How would it feel if we could surrender to trusting the future all the time? Some people will sit and say, you know what, the future will take care of itself. That's pretty true. Those are the people that say, you know, I'm not interested in going into the future. I'm focused right on the moment, the now. I'm not interested in going in the past, even though we gravitate off there sometimes. We wander into the past. The past is like an elephant graveyard. It's dead, really, truly. It's gone. It isn't coming back. So, what do we have? You know, I'm going to spend my time stressing, worrying, fearing about the future. Why would you put all that energy into something you have no clue on anything that's going to happen when you have the now? Which basically, the now creates the future. It is all up to us. It's up to you to let go and experience trust for yourself. You know, people say, oh, I trust. But then when it comes down to it, they don't. And the dangerous part is that through life, of course, we interact and things happen, and, you know, we get to a point where we just don't trust people. We get this, it's almost like an obsession that we believe that everybody's out to get us, that you can't trust anybody, and maybe not even yourself. This is a big, huge play. Life. It's a play. And we're all in it. But we aren't in it permanently. It's a temporary thing. So it's a divine cosmic play called life. When we let go and trust what is and what will be, magical things begin to happen. This universe, for instance, will start answering your every request because you are in alignment with what is. Instead of trying to change, control, or conquer what is destined to be, which most of us do. The mind is too small. It just is too small. It's too small. It's too small of a container to understand how everything is predestined, and yet we have the free will to change our eminent future. And it is not set in stone. It is written in the sand, which ironically is what allows the mind to experience the energy of worry, stress, fear in the first place. If everything was set in stone, there would be no way we could grow and have the grand experience of shifting from love to fear. Now, when you're ready, right, to step permanently out of worry, stress, fear mode in your life, take an honest, deep look inside yourself and see what your personal worry issues are usually around. There's always a main show that we focus on where the majority of our worry, stress, fear focuses. It surrounds it. Why are we so attached to these issues and not the other issues? So we get curious about the subtleties of this attachment and simply notice how it feels to be attached. The next step is replacing worry, stress, and fear with wonder. And being curious about what these hurting parts inside us truly need. After we find out what they are missing, which could be love, trust, appreciation, gentleness, kindness, then let them feel what they need. Feel a sense of wonder inside about everything inside you. Constantly refocus your mind on being curious about what it discovers is true and real. Every time the mind goes into worry, stress, fear, automatically replace it with wonder. Implement this simple switch the instant you begin moving in to worry, stress, fear. And your life will become absolutely wonderful. At first, like anything, ego mind is there and it doesn't care to have you go into this discovery mode. Right? So it spends its time trying to convince you to stay in yesterday and tomorrow. Because itself, it doesn't exist in the now. This is how we master it through the now. This is how we manifest through the now. This is how we discover the God in the now, the God that we are. Choose one of your main worries to replace with wonder. Right now. Do it in the heart-mind. You can do it later. Write down your top 3 biggest worries in life. Then write down 3 new statements that flip these worries upside down by implanting the energy of wonder. For instance, if you are worried about making enough money to cover your bills, you might say, I wonder how the money I need this month is going to show up. Okay? We don't realize what we say sometimes. And then we get more of it. And you practice saying these wonderful sentences to yourself and out loud anytime you start to worry. Get curious about what fearful, stressful future you're running from and find out what it is like to be at peace, even if that future should occur. Focus your mind on the expansive feelings of peace, trust, relaxation. Anytime you get caught in fearful future mode. Now, we all know that we create things that we aren't aware of, right? This is what makes life definitely full of surprises, and it will give us the greatest gifts that we could ever desire if and when we remain curious and open. Does it make any sense that all of us are naturally born manifestors? And yet, there's so many of us that live in a lack of direction. Does it make any sense to any of us that we come to a planet, we enter a physical form as gods, we are the only thing that's real, everything else is an illusion, it's not real, anything that changes is not real, and that we understand that we literally, in a natural state of being, that we can manifest anything that we desire. The challenge to that is that we've been trained in an opposite direction by other people's thoughts. Oh, that's not possible. You can't do that. There are limitations. You ever come up with something that you embraced and that you wanted to accomplish and do? People would say, "You're crazy. That's never going to happen." And then you say, "Well, why would they say that?" Because I believe it will happen, and that's all you need. Doesn't matter what anybody else thinks or believes. All that matters is what you think and believe. That's the key. And, you get some people that say, "Oh, I don't worry about what other people think, say, or do about me." But you know what? They do. They do. And that's the ego-mind part of us. Okay? It's the ego-mind part of these bodies. And we're controlled, many of us are controlled by that society on, worrying and stressing and fearing on how people think, feel, and do about you. Yeah, it's like people that are shy, right? I'm not going to go up there and talk to those people. I'm not going to do it. Okay? And they're just shaken and they're just frozen and they're just frightened to death. It's because they don't have the trust, confidence, and faith in themselves. How many people do you think there are right now on this planet like that? Many. And you would, right? Not until something came into the picture that would challenge them and that would show you their true selves. Many of us hide behind false presentations where we present ourselves falsely under a mask of something or someone that we are not. And you can feel what it is, right? It's you trusting you, having faith in you, and confidence in you. And the universe. It's like, how many people have you been in a situation where you say you're not sure, you're unsure of yourself? Again, your confidence, faith, and trust in yourself is low. Now we have gobs of opportunities that come our way. Most of them we're too preoccupied to know. Sometimes we'll reach out and embrace one. But a lot of the times we let them just pass by. When you experience yourself genuinely, authentically, as a natural manifesting being in your everyday world, right? As a natural manifesting being in your everyday world can be easier and more enjoyable than you think. In fact, each moment is another direct doorway to exploring that divine understanding within you and all around you. What could be more enjoyable than that? This inner and outer exploration of the divine is what makes our entire journey on this planet worthwhile and will provide more evolutionary progress for our soul than anything else we could or should be doing here. We've got to shift, into a higher spiritual frequency. That is the primer for everything. Evolution, God, planet, paradise, higher dimensional frequency of existence. That's where it's at. When we are aware and we decide to shift into this higher spiritual frequency of thinking and consciousness, when we are vibrating with joy, enthusiasm, love, and trust, we will automatically attract things, situations, and people that resonate at this higher frequency. High vibrations attract even higher vibrations, and so on. Wherever your attention goes is where the energy absolutely flows. You do not always need to be aware of this process for it to work. Simply put, whatever you're thinking about is what is being created. You are always creating something, whether it is a compulsive worrying habit, an intimate relationship, your next meal, or world peace. Whatever any of us think about will grow and become our experience more frequently down the road. Now, the big question is, are we truly clear about what we want to manifest and what we don't want to manifest? Are we clear? We all have the ability. It's an innate ability to materialize thoughts into physical form. That's it. And we can improve upon this gift by learning how to harness the power of the mind. All that is needed is total surrender to the idea feeling, and experience of what you want to manifest, as if it is already here now. Instantaneous manifestation occurs when you can hold this sensation and continuously release the emotional negativity and resistance to having it be real. When there is zero resistance, total openness to the infinite possible ways it can happen, and a deep knowingness that your desired outcome has already manifested on some level for you in the here and now, then it has to manifest for you instantly. This may seem impossible to many, ridiculous, miraculous, all kinds of descriptions. Yet it is it's as natural as the warmth from the sunshine above. So you surrender to it all. Sit back. Enjoy the ride. The energy of trust is one of the greatest manifesting energies any of us can harness. It will propel us faster and easier into the life of our dreams. Right now, imagine you have a trust meter in the middle of your chest. It measures your trust in yourself. Wouldn't that be great? And the universe. And has a scale on it that goes from 0 to 100%. How much do you trust life in this moment? Randomly, throughout every day this week, check your body's trust meter and notice where it is at. Check inside to see where your trust levels are at and practice feeling trust all through your body. Practice trusting in the perfection of life in each moment until your trust meter reaches 100%. The goal is to live every day of your life with your trust meter relaxed and resting at 100% all the time, no matter what occurs. Devote the next 7 days of your life to seeing how high your body can vibrate on the trust meter. Do everything you can. Imagine that feels peaceful, healing, and exciting to your soul. Do what will bring you more trusting energy. And trust that everything that occurs is the right thing to occur. When you devote your life to growing this trusting feeling, then life will devote itself to growing its trust in you. Do not rely on your mind for liberation. This is Vedanta. There is an amazing, infinite universe all around us. Outer space extends far beyond what we can see with any high-tech cosmic telescope, which can view star system 13 billion plus light years away. This incredible universe is also a living, breathing experience that extends infinitely within us. It continues deeper beyond the atomic quantum particles, which are amazing yet ancient electron microscopes can barely see. And when we look inside ourselves on a conscious level, using our mind to explore who we truly are, what we discover is yet another realm of infinity. Inside our mind, there are memories piled upon memories and beliefs within beliefs, all stacked to infinity. For every new thought that is forming right now, there are a dozen new thoughts soon to follow. Just sit down on some lazy Sunday afternoon to spiritually investigate what you really are. And you'll find you can ascend and descend forever within the deepest realms of your very soul. However, what I find most fascinating inside of this infinite mystery is in the relationship that's manifesting between our inner world and the outer world. Behaves something like a perpetual reflection in a mirror. Whatever is happening within our inner world is attracting, magnetizing, and manifesting what we are experiencing in our outer world. Now, you would think or believe that that's pretty much effortless. All I got to do is start thinking and feeling in a positive direction to increase my vibrational frequencies. For example, if I'm in a good mood today, all I see are happy, smiling faces wherever I go, and amazing opportunities seem to effortlessly float my way. Then, if I fall down into an emotional dumpster, the face of every person has nothing but gloom and doom smeared all over it. And it feels like my entire life is about to collapse. The law of attraction is unavoidable. Whatever we are feeling and feeding into emotionally on the inside is somehow always materializing into whatever we see, experience, and physically attract in our outer world. Another example of how the infinite reflection is showing up in our outer lives is how it manifests relationship with others. The more compassion and acceptance we have for ourselves, the easier it is to have compassion, love, and acceptance for others. Or it's always that one thing which we absolutely dislike and cannot stand about the other, which is reflecting some part inside ourselves that we don't want to own or accept. If I'm upset at my neighbor for being too dominating, controlling, and aggressive, instead of having compassion with him, then when I take a closer look inside myself, I will see how I am not okay with those parts of myself that feel too dominating, controlling, or aggressive. It's all a deep and yet transparent mirror. And the outer world is an extension of our inner universe. This means that life extends into infinity in every direction and dimension. Our inner and outer universes are never separate. Even though your physical body appears to be a completely isolated entity, it is not. We live in one sacred ocean of energy. There simply is just one universe that extends for infinity in the other realms in all directions and inner dimensions. We contain the wet and salty qualities of the entire ocean, and yet are just a single drop in it. The oceanic waves are always moving us and flowing through us, as us. He who thinks he is the doer is also the sufferer. Raman Rishi. One of the essential problems most people are having with life is that they are not reaching deep enough inside themselves to reconnect with their actual living, breathing, infinite spiritual essence. Our spiritual nature is a real thing. It is the most basic reality. It keeps our heart beating, our breath breathing, and our life force moving through us in every moment of existence. We don't have to breathe. Our body does it for us. The same is with our spiritual essence. It is living and creating through our physical body, unfolding as its essential karmic programming within this great cosmic ground. It's good to know that the suffering happens only when the mind gets in the way. When we become overly focused on thoughts and material things that make us feel limited or time-bound, we start believing we only have limited options. The realm of the infinite fades into the background of the finite. And we start thinking everyone is living in a very small, contracted world. When we only focus on our needs, we forget how to connect with the soul of others. If we are always thinking about money and more material possessions, we cannot see or feel the infinite reality that is beneath it all. I'll join you in the meditation, and I'll return to close us out. Take an easy and slow breath in from the nose. And an easy and slow breath out from the mouth. Remain still. It is time to release any mental, emotional, or physical inner wounds you are holding on to, so that you are more open and receptive to the divinity within. For today, redirect your attention toward the most soft, gentle, loving, healing energy you can imagine. Could be anything. Could be a new puppy, fuzzy blanket, or receiving a message from a divine healing master. Whatever you focus on, let yourself soften and welcome the relaxing, healing vibrations all throughout your body. This gentleness will help you head and heal in more ways than you know. Imagine a soft healing energy is penetrating every cell in your body throughout the day today. Notice how your face changes in the mirror when you are focusing on this healing energy. Take this with you for the rest of the day, into the evening and night, and following morning. We will return here Sunday, October 1, 2023, 3:15 p.m. Eastern, to continue our global guided meditation call. Be gentle, kind, generous, humble with yourself at all times. Be in the highest of the highest high, deepest of the deepest eternal gratitude at all times, no matter what's happening